sad to say I haven't been back to Romania in 7 years, so I'm very pleased to be here. But we said, after I started this page, people were saying, when's the last time you were in Iasi? You know, this is where I met my wife, my partner in life, and we both said, well, if we're going to Romania, we have to come here, which is why I'm here. So those are the number of times. But the question is, what's my reaction?
What was the most shocking change you noticed? The biggest change?
Well, it's been gradual because, of course, our relatives are coming and going. We have lots of relatives in New York, and we go back and forth. I think the one change that I was kind of shocked at in 1998, I'll use this as a way to answer your question, was when I first came here in '87 and I got really thirsty one day in the reading room. I might have been in this lecture room. And I got really thirsty, but of course there are no, as in American universities, there's no Coke machine in the hall. To go get yourself a cold Coke or a cold water. There were no water fountains. And so I asked one of the students about where I could get some water. He very generously ran to the Cuza University and got me a big bottle of lukewarm aqua minerale, which was good. It quenched my thirst. But when we came in '98, then I saw there was a Coke machine every 10 feet, you know, and I thought, oh God, you know, it's, you know, what a change. Well, for which I'm grateful. It's good. Yeah. That's a small way of saying many things changed. It's hard to put a finger. Obviously, my first evening in Bucharest was, I was of course jet lagged, and so I walked from the capital towards the Cuza University. And the reason I did that is because the street lights were all out. Everything was dark. You know how they conserve electricity. And the Romanians were walking by me with perfect senses and I was kind of blind, but they were avoiding me very well. And I was going towards the light, and the light was the intercom. The intercom was lit up like crazy. So I went in there and went in to meet some folks there. So it's hard to say that, you know, street lights was a big difference then. But a great question I can answer for you today is coming back to Iasi today after 31 years felt like coming home.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah. Sure. Back row.
Yeah, two questions, which is, it's one question but two angles. What was your relationship with your neighbors in Iasi and Garaj? Given your, you know, like
Familia Constantinescu.
Sorry?
Familia Constantinescu.
How was the relationship?
They were in Department 1, and I think my number was 2 on the okay, I'll give you a story. You'll ask for the question, I'm going to give you a story. My first night there, I broke my foot.
Just one of the stories on your Facebook page, I think.
You know this story?
Absolutely. I just saw the...
Well, that's not, so if you haven't read this story, it's literally true. I went in and I didn't know how to use the pull thing, and it just, you know, I pulled something off, and the water was draining into the bathroom. I had just gotten there, and I was panicking. It was going to fill up, you know, and I ran across, knocked on the Constantinescu's door. I didn't know that was the name. I had 8 weeks of Romanian training, translating Prianga, you know, and you know, Verde Cruz by Primavera. That's what they had me doing, like translating Monday marriages, that kind of thing. And so the only thing I could think of at their door while my bathroom was filling up with water, or so I thought. Mr. Constantine, I came to the door and he said, what? It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. He said, problema! Problema! That's all I could think of. He comes in and he looks and he sees, you know, and he says, este problema. And I said, okay, you don't know what you're talking about, buddy. This thing is filling up with water. And he pulls up a little, you know, mat, little plastic mat, and there's a drain. Smart. We don't have those in American bathrooms, which is silly. But from that moment on, I met them at 1 o'clock in the morning, so everything was great. What I tended to do with the Constantinescu is because, you know, we became friends, they would give me food, make food, invite me over to the shawarma and all these things. Met their daughter and everything. We still communicate on Facebook. is I used to get my Casa de Commence food ration thing, but they were giving me food for the couple, for Jerry, my wife, and his wife. So I was getting, I don't know, every 10 days, 36, 40 eggs. So I would just give them to Mrs. Constantinescu. So we were neighbors, we were sharing. So we had a pretty good relationship, I think. I don't know many other people from that building besides the Constantinescu, so I'm pretty good with them.
And my second part of the question was, how was your relationship with the authorities in Romania? Because I believe you are supposed to, I don't know, I'm trying to speculate here, probably, like check your reports,
Well,
stuff like that.
in some ways, very good. I mean, I can't claim to have been persecuted. I was followed. I've got my dossier now. I see photos they took of Mirela and me. You know, they're in the dossier. They photographed. They Xeroxed my stuff when I went to England, looking for me taking addresses of going to Romania and England, I guess. But I wasn't. You know, it wasn't very overt. Like I said, I think the difficulties I had with the head of the department then and the rector were, I wasn't keeping to the program. You gotta stick to the program, that's what we had. I let my hair grow. As Mirela was telling us, even today, that the write-up of descriptions of her and me in the securitate overview was that Mirela is very well-spoken and well-dressed and intelligent. And David is very intelligent and dedicated to his students, but poorly dressed.
Vestimentația lui lasă de dorit.
It's true. And I finally got a haircut in May and didn't change my clothes. But, with the authorities, I said the worst period was when I got yanked out of the line at Auto Pen and put in a little room with a guy with an AK-47, and they took my backpack away. And they said, they opened it up and they were looking for letters, because in those days, if you took a letter for a Romanian citizen to someplace else, that was, you could be tossed out of the country persona non grata. And someone speculated that that's what I was doing, taking mail. What I was taking was a phone number to call a friend of a colleague to deliver a message. So it was all up here. But they probably were smart enough to figure out the phone number. Pretty sure. But with the authorities, I had to watch it, and of course I didn't want to aggravate them with this work. So I wanted to keep it, you know, and you can see from the photos, I wasn't taking anything dangerous. Maybe my picture of the Gara was maybe the most, because you weren't supposed to take pictures around train stations and everything. Answer?
Perfect.
You mentioned the dossier. Do you happen to know exactly what it contains? Did you manage to read through?
Well, it's 400 pages.
Yeah.
Half of it is in manuscript, which is illegible. Well, we're going to work through it. Now, I'm in the process of putting a book together about this process, but now that I have what they thought I was doing, well, actually, factually, it's pretty good. At 10:45, he was at the embassy, and he talked to the ambassador, he talked to this guy, he talked to that guy. My whole schedule they knew. And I walked out, they knew where I went to eat, where I went to, you know.
Yeah, because I think it would be something very interesting to see how the secret police actually acted around you, how they studied you. Do you plan on releasing it, showing it to us? Or probably do you think it contains a lot more personal information than you are willing to share?
Well, half of it I can't, you know, scribbles. I can't even see. No, I don't think it's anything that. I know what I did. I certainly did. I mean, can I tell you anything about them? Sure, we're here. Mirela was saying to us today even about when she was called in. Was it 88, 89? They called you into the securitate office in Constanza. And I had sent some forms that were required for the embassy, marriage requests, and forms for Romania, with my signature saying, I want to marry Mirela, who's this, you know.
But you didn't tell me anything about it.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a surprise.
Yep, it was a surprise. But I mailed it in the open to the Romanian mail. which means, of course, they were going to open it up because it came from me in Washington State. And then they took you in and they told you, this is the reason I'm telling you the story, because you're saying, well, what did they think about me and all that?
Okay, actually, they said, mâine dimineață la ora 8 vă invităm la sediul de securității pe strada Milare. Și atunci m-am prezentat acolo și mi-au spus cine este David Hadaller. Și am spus, este un profesor pe care am cunoscut în Iasi când înainte de a da examenul de definitivat. Și am spus, dar de ce nu vorbeam tocmai de domnul Hadaller, pentru că eu am lucrat ghid vara și am lucrat cu foarte mulți turiști, dar de ce vă interesează tocmai acest domn? Pentru că aveți o relație specială cu acest domn. Nu cred. Domnul nu era foarte... A fost, cum să spun, foarte decent și... Adică, mie mi-a fost foarte teamă, dar s-a comportat foarte civil. Mi-a spus, dar vreți să plecați în Statele Unite? Și am spus, nu, e o situație așa de bună aici. Dar știți că acest domn Hadaller este agenția ei?
That's what they
Și eu
thought.
atunci m-am
That's what they
gândit,
told me.
99% am spus, dar aveam o sămânță de cinstit, 1%. Și spune, ce am intrat eu aici? Și m-am dus acasă, am deschis, adică m-am dat la cutia poștală și era un plic galben mare, deschis, nici măcar nu a avut decența să-l închidă, și erau actele. Și eu îi spusesem lui David, dacă vrei să ne căsătorim, trebuie să te cunoască părinții mei, nu-mi trimite actele pentru că nu reprezintă nimic pentru mine, trebuie întâi să te vadă părinții mei. Și atunci nu mi era atât de teamă de securitate, cât îmi era de teamă că au aflat securitatea înainte tatălui meu. Și am spus, dacă se duc și la anunță pe tata, în seara asta trebuie să-i spun. Deci noi discutam de un an de zile, dar părinții mei nu știau nimic. Eu sunt aromâncă și părinții mei voiau să mă căsătoresc cu un aromân, deci nici nu-și imaginau că o să plec din țară și atunci a fost, mă rog, cam dificil pentru noi, dar atunci am înțeles când am ajuns acasă că ei sunt cu un pas înaintea noastră. Și eu mi-am luat dosarul, eu nu am decât 87 de pagini, dar toate convorbirile erau înregistrate și aveam și câteva fotografii acolo. El are mai mult.
And so we just got this pile of paper on Friday. So,
Yeah.
but so more reading, we'll discover what to share and how.
Looking forward to it.
Yes, Sam.
My question is, because I've had in my family, one of my aunts, she had a friend who applied to immigrate to the United States. He lost his job immediately.
Yes.
But then when he actually left, she got fired as well. And she used to be a teacher. She was a math teacher.
So, you know what happened? When the minute I put my file, my papers through, I decided not to work. My father was pretty well off, and I didn't want to go through that. I was a teacher, and I said, you know what? I'm going to take courses. So I took French, I took computers, I took all kinds of things to get ready for my American adventure. And I said, I'm not going to work because I don't want to have any problems. So, I could afford not to work. So I didn't work, but I was thinking, I gave up my job. I couldn't work as a tour guide, so I stopped working because I was afraid that they could have framed me. My dad said, no, you can send me the papers to stop working because something could happen to you. So they couldn't, do anything. But then I was thinking, I gave up everything for this guy. Right? My career, my everything. I had worked as a tour guide for 9 years. I had a very good life. I'm thinking, what if he changes his mind? Because, it's a long period, I don't know, is it worth it?
Is it? Now I get the truth.
The proof is in the pudding here.